we sent a car for you to come here, correct?
That's right.
You did not walk here to the studio.
No,
okay,
no,
I want to
no.
make sure. All right.
Yeah, that's right, man. I walked enough this year.
I want to make sure that we took care of you.
Send me that.
Very good.
So I think it was a Lincoln MKZ. I was in the back, legs stretched out.
So why did you do what you did, Mike?
I really wanted to be somebody I was actually proud of. You know, I wanted, if somebody said, you know, who inspires you or who's your hero, who you look up to, I wanted to be able to look them in the eye and say me. And this walk, it just called to me. I think a lot of people watching know what it's like to have something that you know you're supposed to do. You're called to it. You're pulled towards it. And most of us think of some sort of reason why we can't do it or reason why we're going to do it later. Mm-hmm. And my contention is, you know, 95% of those reasons are actually excuses. And I made excuses for about 5 years. And then I realized, hey, man, you know, you're going to die one day. You're either going to do this walk before then or not. And
well, but
so
you're a
I sent it.
31-year-old guy who has a great list of accomplishments already at this age. Not to get too deep and turn this into maybe a therapy session, but why did you feel like this walk was necessary for you to say that you've accomplished something or that you're proud of what you've been able to accomplish?
Sure,
Mike?
it's not that I felt I had no accomplishments before that I'm not proud of any of those accomplishments. You know, Grammy nomination or, you know, popular songs or, you know, all my albums I'm very proud of. I put a lot of hard work into those. But it just had a feeling, an inkling that there was more inside me. And I think a lot of people know what it's like to feel like, hey, man, I just got more to offer and not really know what to do with it. So I had this inkling, you know, there's a little more in me. Let me see if I could pull this thing off. And I went out there and I found out I was actually wrong. There's a lot more in me. And so now my job is to just figure out, you know, how to keep exploring that, you know, and I always say, keep going, name a new mixtape, keep going. Mm-hmm. And that was our motto out there because, you know, you get to Kansas, that's a big accomplishment, but now you got to get Colorado. Keep going, you know.
Well, certainly if you start in New Jersey as you did, and you know you got a New Jerseyite over there, and my sound guy Mike Del Tufo, my audio executive.
What up, though? Okay. Audio executive.
Yeah, he spins some tunes on Friday nights, so he always loves having musicians and songwriters like yourself here.
Yeah.
Asbury Park, New Jersey is where you started. Is that a Springsteen inspiration?
Yeah, I was looking at, you know, all these places on the East Coast where I could possibly start. The most important thing was, you know, my walk actually, not to nitpick you, but it wasn't New Jersey to Cali, it was ocean to ocean.
Okay.
And so it was important for me to be able to start with my feet in the water. Now, some places like New York City, man, hey, you can't really put your feet in the water.
That is true.
So I was
you could get arrested for that sort of thing,
I was looking for a place where I could get in the water, and I was looking at all these cities on the map. I didn't recognize any of them except for Asbury Park because of the boss.
No kidding.
Sure. Yeah, I like the boss, man.
Okay, so he wasn't in town when you started.
I was
right?
trying to get some. I was posting like, "Hey, if anyone knows Bruce Springsteen, tell him to come walk with me." He never came, but it was worth a try.
But it's still a great spot to start.
It
obviously.
was cool. I know. I read his book. You know, he did his autobiography, and I recognized a lot of the little cities, Freehold and stuff from his book. So it was kind of cool.
Mike Posner here on the Rich Eisen Show, the Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter who completed a walk across America. And so, look, Bruce might not have seen your tweet or your Instagram feed, but millions of people did. And you went across. Who did you meet? I mean, who did you end up meeting on this trip that made it even more significant?
I met Americans, and especially at the beginning, you see a lot of the Revolutionary War monuments. You see a lot of the old graveyards. I'm talking about graveyards where some tombstones you can't even see the writing anymore. Just a little stone is because they've sunk so far, and you feel a lot of pride meeting these very kind people who don't know who I am, but they're pulling their car over to make sure I don't need a ride or make sure I have water. And I felt a lot of pride to be American and meeting people like that in Illinois and Indiana And then I kept walking, you know, I kept walking across the Rocky Mountains, across Colorado. I eventually walked across the Navajo Nation. I walked across in Arizona. It actually spans 4 states. And I met people like Al Largo or Alex Pachowski-Begay, who explained to me kind of what's going on their reservation, you know, how their water's poisoned because of a mine, a uranium mine that our country's put there. And I felt actually shame. And for me, you know, doing this walk, being American is feeling pride and shame at the same time.
And when you walked, were you walking on just thoroughfares, streets, or highways? Were you literally walking on the side of an interstate at some point in time?
Good question. It's illegal to walk on interstate, so I try to break as few laws as possible on the walk.
Right.
But there was one time I got permission it was in California, from CHP to do like a 4-mile stretch on the interstate. But other than that, I was mostly on like U.S. highways or state highways.
Right.
And then a lot of times I get kind of lost in back roads and into the woods and national parks, that kind of thing. But definitely a lot of walking on highways. The walk across America is that. There's an Appalachian Trail and PCT. Those are beautiful trails. If you can walk across, you're going to basically almost get hit by a car every day.
You could be very careful, right? And where'd you lay your head? Did you stay in any hotels?
Yeah, I had a support vehicle.
Okay.
So I had a buddy with me, and he would go ahead of me, basically 8 miles, and I'd catch up. And usually we would sleep in that. There were the more interesting parts, you know, the Rocky Mountains, the Mojave Desert, things like that. It couldn't drive there as to the roads weren't in good enough condition, so I'd sleep in a tent on those parts. Those are the best parts.
What you'd carry on your back? Is that what you were doing?
We would have like a Land Cruiser kind of. We switch vehicles. So I didn't backpack. Now, I like to be clear about that. I walk supported because there are people out there right now walking unsupported who are more amazing than me. They put it all on their back.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.